Right now, there's one number spreading fast across headlines, inboxes, and social media feeds. One number that could mean real money in your pocket every single month. $1,330 or more every month. And it's being tied to Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and VA benefits. Now, if you're retired, disabled, a veteran, or helping someone who is, this is not something you can afford to scroll past. Because for millions of Americans living on fixed income, an extra few $100s isn't just helpful, it's survival, it's groceries, it's rent, it's medication. But before you get too excited, slow down. Because here's the truth. Most headlines won't tell you. This number didn't come out of nowhere. It didn't happen by accident. And it definitely doesn't mean everyone automatically gets a 1,330 check. Some people will qualify, some people already are, and others could miss out completely, simply because they don't understand what's really happening. So stay with me, because once you understand where this number comes from, everything starts to make sense. Now, let's talk about what's really going on here, because this is where things get confusing for a lot of people. That $1,330 figure didn't come from a brand new law overnight. It didn't come from a surprise stimulus bill, and it's not a single check being mailed to everyone at the same time. What's happening is more complicated and more important. Over the past year, the pressure on the system has been building. Inflation pushed prices higher, rent climbed, food costs jumped, medical expenses kept rising, and suddenly, the numbers that once looked adequate on paper no longer match real life. So federal benefit programs are being looked at more closely than they have been in years. Social Security, SSI, SSDI, VA benefits. Each one works differently. Each one has its own rules. But here's where the confusion starts. That $1,330 number is not a base payment. It's not a minimum guarantee for everyone. It's a blended figure that comes from averages, adjustments, and combined benefits. Some recipients already receive close to that amount. Others only reach it after cost of living adjustments. And some only see it when benefits stack together the right way. This is why one headline can say 1,330 monthly payments, while another person checks their account and sees something very different. Now, here's the part most people miss. When agencies update averages, recalculate eligibility, or review payment levels, it creates opportunity and risk. Opportunity for people who qualify but aren't fully enrolled. Risk for people who assume everything is automatic. Because not every increase shows up unless your information is correct. Not every adjustment applies unless your status is reviewed. And not every benefit reaches its full amount unless you meet very specific criteria. That's why some people will see more money without doing anything. Others will see no change at all. And a small but painful group will delay or lose payments simply because they didn't act in time. So the real story isn't the headline. The real story is how this number connects to your situation. Now let's make this real, because this is where the headline turns into your life, your money, and your future. If you're watching this right now, you fall into one of a few groups, and which group you're in determines whether that $1,330 number is realistic for you, or just noise. Let's start with Social Security retirees. If you claimed early, your base check is smaller. If you waited longer, it's higher. But here's what many people don't realize. Cost of living adjustments, benefit recalculations, and earnings history reviews can quietly change your monthly amount. Sometimes by $50, sometimes by a few hundred. That's how some retirees are now landing at or above that 1,330 mark, not because of a miracle, but because the math finally caught up with reality. Now listen carefully if you're on SSI. SSI works on a completely different system. It's income-based, asset-based, and very strict. But when housing costs, food assistance, and benefit thresholds shift, even slightly, it can push total monthly support higher than people expect. especially for those who receive partial help from other programs. This is where confusion turns into missed money, because many people assume SSI is fixed. It's not. Small changes in eligibility rules can mean the difference between staying stuck or seeing real movement. Now let's talk about SSDI. This is where timing becomes everything. If you're approved, your benefit is tied to your past work record, but reviews, back pay adjustments, and dependent benefits can dramatically change monthly totals. Some SSDI recipients don't realize they qualify for more until months or years later. Others don't realize a review is coming until it's already delayed their payment. That's why some people are now seeing numbers close to that 1,330 figure, while others are still waiting. And veterans, this part matters. VA compensation works differently than all of this. Disability ratings, dependents, service connections. A small increase in rating can mean a big jump in monthly income. Add dependents, add cost adjustments. And suddenly, that $1,330 number isn't a headline, it's a deposit. But here's the hard truth. None of this is automatic for everyone. Paperwork matters, reviews matter, deadlines matter. Right now, people are losing money, not because they don't qualify, but because they assume someone else is tracking it for them. And here's where the stakes get even higher. A delay of 1 month doesn't just cost you one check. It can cost you thousands over the year. It can affect back pay. It can affect future increases. This is why awareness right now is everything, because the next few months will decide who benefits and who gets left behind. And before you panic, stay with me, because what happens next is not about fear. It's about clarity. And once you understand what to expect, you'll know exactly how to protect what's yours. Now take a breath, because this is where everything finally comes into focus. Despite the dramatic headlines, despite the big numbers being thrown around online, this is not a moment to panic. This is a moment to slow down and understand the system, because the system rewards people who stay informed. Here's what happens next. Over the coming weeks and months, government agencies will continue reviewing records, payment files will be updated, eligibility statuses will be checked, and adjustments, small or large, will be processed quietly in the background. Some people will wake up one morning and see a slightly higher deposit. Others will get a letter explaining a change that already happened. And many people won't see any difference at all because their situation doesn't require one. And that doesn't mean something is wrong. The biggest mistake right now is assuming silence means bad news. The second biggest mistake is assuming everything is automatic. If you receive Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, your responsibility right now is simple. Pay attention, open your mail, check your account, and don't ignore notices just because they look routine. Those letters matter, those numbers matter, and timing matters more than people realize, because a missed update today can turn into months of delayed payments tomorrow. A missed review can freeze an increase you were eligible for, and a missed deadline can cost you money you'll never get back. But here's the reassurance most people need to hear. You are not behind. You didn't miss some secret deadline yesterday, and you haven't lost anything just by watching this video. This system moves slowly, sometimes painfully slowly, and that means awareness gives you power. Right now, the people who come out ahead aren't the ones chasing rumors. They're the ones who understand how their benefits work. They're the ones who verify their information. And they're the ones who stay calm and informed instead of reacting emotionally to every headline. And listen carefully. If your payment doesn't change, that doesn't mean you failed. It means your benefits are stable, and stability matters just as much as increases. What matters most is knowing where you stand, knowing what you receive, and knowing what could change if your situation changes. Because knowledge protects your income and confidence protects your peace of mind. So don't tune out now. This is exactly the time to stay connected. If these updates affect your life, make sure you're subscribed. Stay informed, stay prepared, and stay one step ahead of confusion, because changes don't always come with warnings. But when they do come, you'll be ready. You deserve clarity, you deserve stability, and you deserve every dollar you qualify for, now and in the future.